everybody. My name is Mars. You can call me MG if you would like, and today we are kicking off my first ever series slasher vlog. If you don't know what series slasher is, I will leave a link in the description for you to check out. It's got like kind of a confusing explanation of it, but an explanation. Long story short though, series slasher is a game that I have created. It is inspired by my love of horror, specifically slashers, and it is a way to motivate myself and kind of gamify continuing and finishing series, which is something I am terrible at. I love starting a series, not so good at continuing on with them, but I'm hoping to change that in 2026, and one of the ways I'm doing that is with series slasher. Now, eventually there will be a actual physical deck of cards for me to draw from. I don't have those yet because I have not had the time to do an adequate research binge on where to get these cards printed for the quality and price that I am hoping for. So for now, we just have wheels to spin, and I will be spinning one killer, which will give me a parameter to go by, 3 heroes, which will give me specific prompts to pull books that fulfill the original parameter, 1 location, which is going to give me a reading challenge, and then 1 weapon, which is going to give me a non-reading but still bookish challenge. And those will be the books that I'll be reading and the challenges I will try to be fulfilling during this vlog. So let's just cut to me spinning those wheels, and then I will come back and tell you what those, things that I spin actually mean. So that didn't exactly go how I thought it would. I spun a lot of things that I was not expecting, which is silly of me because everything on the wheel has an equal chance of being spun, so I don't know why I expected some things but not others. But the first thing we spun was our killer, and we got The Demon Unleashed. This means I have to read all horror series, which is going to be a bit of a, not problem, but challenge, because I feel like out of all of the genres, horror is what I have the least of in terms of ongoing series. I have a fair few, but it just means that my choices are going to be much more limited in terms of matching the prompts to the series than if I had spun, choosing all fantasy books, you know? So definitely have my work cut out for me there. The 3 heroes that I spun, and that means the 3 prompts that I have to fulfill, are The Flirt, which is a book with a character who is book boyfriend or book girlfriend material, The Twins, which means I have to read 2 books from 1 series, and The Clueless Cop, which means a book with a weapon on the cover or in the title, which I feel like shouldn't be super hard for horror, but knowing me, since I just said that, it's going to be the hardest one of these 3 to fulfill. Then I had my location prompt, and for this I rolled, or spun, the Abandoned Asylum, and this means that every time I sit down to read, I have to pick up a new book. It can't be the one I had previously been reading. So if I was reading my book for the flirt prompt and then I put it down to go do something, when I came back, I couldn't pick up my flirt book. I'd have to pick up my Clueless Cop book or one of my twins' books, which, I mean, they're going to be from the same series, so it'd be whichever one is earlier until I finish that, and then I have to read the next one. So that is definitely doable, but still a challenge, like it's supposed to be. Then I pulled the garrote. Is that how that's pronounced? I probably should have actually looked that up, but I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced for my weapon. And so I have to make a mini playlist inspired by one of the reads for this vlog, which I think is going to be super fun. So those are all of my prompts and challenges. I disclaimer, am filming this at the end of December, so I've got some time before I actually have to read, which is good because I think it's going to take me a little while to settle in books for these prompts and then actually acquire said books because there's probably going to be a little bit of a wait on some library holds, things like that, but I will see you in a few days when it is time to actually do some reading. Good morning, friends. It is Sunday the 4th, and it is time to start reading for this vlog. So here I am. I am still undecided if I want to do the location challenge, which was to switch books every time you start a new reading session. I'm kind of on the fence about if I want to do that or not. If you didn't watch my explanation video, the location and weapon challenges are completely optional. There's no, like, punishments if you don't do them, but if you do them, then you get a, like, reward benefit thing. So undecided about that. While I think about it, I'm going to do the shortest book on this because I am going to do it in one sitting, essentially, and that way I don't have to decide anytime soon if what I want to do is switch books around, you know? So the first book I'm going to be reading is for part of the twins card, which was, as you probably remember, because it's been many days for me since I filmed the, like, card choosing, but it's only been a little bit for you because this is all one video. But the twins is to read 2 books from the same series, and I have decided to go with the Into the Drowning Deep series by Mira Grant. This was one book, Into the Drowning Deep, which I actually have right next to me, but it's at the bottom of a big stack of books, and I don't feel like getting it out. But it was Into the Drowning Deep, and then there's a prequel novella called Rolling in the Deep, and it's been a while since I have read Into the Drowning Deep, so I do want to reread that, but I'm going to listen to the prequel novella first. I have it on audio from Libby, and it is less than 3 hours long. I usually listen to audiobooks between 2 times and 3 times speed, depending on the natural cadence of the narrator. So this will take me anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half to listen to, and I am very much looking forward to this because I remember really enjoying Into the Drowning Deep, and this is like the story of what our main character in that book's motivation is. Basically, something happened to our main character's sister, and that has set her off on this adventure, and Rolling in the Deep is what happened to her sister. So I'm going to listen to that while I do some chores, because my apartment is a huge mess. Did a lot of cleaning before the holidays, and then the holidays happened, and my boyfriend and I have kind of just let this place get very bad. So, actually first I think I'm going to edit a video, because I do have a video that's going up tomorrow, so I need to edit it today. So I'm going to do that, and then while it's like exporting and uploading and all of that, then I will listen to my audiobook while I clean. That sounds like a very smart use of my time. So, I'll do that. I'm not going to film any B-roll of me cleaning because honestly, it's a little bit embarrassing how bad things have gotten. Normally, when I clean, if I'm like doing the dishes, putting away laundry and stuff, I'll film a little B-roll for you. No, I don't want people to see how bad my apartment has gotten, so I think I'm just going to check back in with you after I finish Rolling in the Deep with my thoughts on it. Okay, friends, I'm back. It has been a couple of hours, and my video's exported and uploaded and all that good stuff. My apartment is much cleaner, although still have some work to do on that. But most importantly for this vlog, I have finished Rolling in the Deep. It was fine. It kind of just felt like more of what I remember from Into the Drowning Deep. Like, it didn't add anything to it. It was just kind of like an extended prologue, I guess. But I am now excited to jump into the Drowning Deep. It's not too thick, so it shouldn't take me super long to read, especially because I don't have a lot else going on today or in the next couple of days, as far as I'm aware, so I should have ample reading time. But I have decided I'm not going to do my location prompt. I just don't feel like dealing with that, so I'm just going to start this and pick it up until I finish it and then move on to the other books for this vlog. So that is what's gonna happen. I will see you when I have an update, I guess. I don't really have much else to say here. Alright, friends, it is 4:30 in the afternoon, and I finished part 1 of Into the Drowning Deep. I am 80 pages in, and I'm really bored. I read this, I don't even know how many years ago. It was not right when it came out, but only shortly after, so probably like 2019-ish. It was definitely pre-pandemic, which is interesting because this was published in 2017, but the main bulk of the story takes place in 2022, and obviously did not know it was going to happen, so this takes place technically in a world where the COVID pandemic never happened, and that's not like a major impact on the story. It's just something interesting that I've noticed, or like realized, I guess is a better word. But yeah, I read this like 6 or 7 years ago, and I gave it 4 stars according to Goodreads. I didn't leave a review, I just gave it a rating, but I obviously enjoyed it. Now though, I'm just really bored. It's very dense, and I feel like I'm not enjoying the same elements that I didn't enjoy in Middle Game, which is by Sean McGuire, but Sean McGuire and Mira Grant are the same people, if you did not know that. I love the Wayward Children series. Absolutely phenomenal. Those are novellas. Middle Game did not like. It was not my cup of tea in the slightest. And then, what is that called? Rosemary and Rue is, Middle Game is like sci-fi, very high concept, but like still takes place on Earth. Rosemary and Rue is urban fantasy with like fae and stuff, but still takes place in the real world. And I liked that one better than Middle Game, but I still didn't love it. I thought it was just fine. My issue with that was also that it was kind of long. So I feel like, especially having just read the novella, I feel like this is going to be another book where I'm like, why is this over 400 pages? This could have easily been like 300. That's been something something I've been thinking about a lot lately, is just so many books that do not need to be as long as they are. I don't know if I'm just picking the wrong books. I don't know if my reading taste has been skewing towards shorter books recently. No idea, but that's just kind of the vibe, I guess. I don't really care what's happening right now. I'm gonna keep going, but if I DNF this, I don't think that should come as a surprise. It's a possibility at this point, but not like something that I'm definitely going to be doing. Just wanted to put that out there. One thing that I think is very funny is that the ship in the prequel, it's spelled A. Hold on, let me actually pull it over here so that I can actually spell it right. Atargatas. In my head, I read that and I want to say Atargatis, The novella, I was listening to an audiobook, and they pronounced it as Otter Goddess, which sounds like otter goddess to me, like a goddess of otters, which is very funny. But yeah, I keep, every time they mention the name of that original ship, it like short circuits my brain a little bit, and I have to remind myself how that's actually pronounced. But yeah, not loving this, but I'm not hating it either. So I'm like wearing exactly the same color red. That's very funny. I did not notice that until now. Um, yeah, I don't want to DNF this, but if it comes to that, I would rather DNF it than like spend time reading a book I'm not enjoying, you know? So yeah, I'm gonna keep going with this, and I will check in with you at a future time, probably when I finish part 2. I don't know how many parts there are in this book, but it just makes sense for me to do that, so that's when I'll see you next. Okay, friends, it is 10 p.m. It's been hours since I talked to you, and in that time, I've only read one chapter of Into the Drowning Deep, and I'm just gonna call it. I'm DNFing it. I'm so bored. Genuinely, I feel like anything that we would be getting in this story regarding like the horror elements and the mermaids and stuff, I already got this morning when I listened to um Rolling in the Deep. So this kind of just feels unnecessary now. Bummer, but I'm just gonna cut my losses and move on. I did make it to page. Oh, I was gonna say at least I made it to page 100. I made it to page 93. That's pretty close to 100. Yeah, disappointing, but it happens. So I am still gonna count this prompt as complete for the purposes of serious slasher. DNFing a book is still completing a prompt because I don't believe in forcing myself through books that I'm not enjoying unless I have a good reason to. It's fine. Sometimes I'm allowed to contradict myself, but in this case, DNFs are perfectly fine. So the twins have safely made it through their encounter with who was my villain again? The Demon Unleashed? I think so. Wow, I'm so tired, you guys. Not even villain, killer. The term I use is killer. Anyway, should I come up with like names for these people and like personalities? I don't know. Maybe you guys can do that for me in the comments. Come up with a little storyline for why the people that we have, the heroes, are facing down this killer. Um anyway, wow. I need to go to sleep, but tomorrow I will be starting a new book because obviously I'm not reading Into the Drowning Deep anymore, and I'm going to go with The Clueless Cop. That's what it is, the prompt of a weapon on the cover, and this was literally the only book, the only like next book in a series, in a horror series that had a weapon on the cover for me. So this was my only option for this, and that is Scythe and Sparrow by Brynne Weaver, the third and final book in the Ruinous Love trilogy. I'm finally going to be completing this. A bus going by. Rude. I have been putting off reading this book because I absolutely loved Butcher and Blackbird. Phenomenal. Had a great time. Was not a big fan of Leather and Lark. I didn't hate it. I just did not like it. I was very middle of the road with that book, so I've just not picked up Scythe and Sparrow. But I'm going to do it for this vlog, and I'm going to finish out the series, and that's going to deal another wound to our killer. That would be 2 wounds, which is phenomenal. Ooh. If I do a third one, that means that this killer would be dead, defeated in 1 round. Didn't even think of that. And the book I have for the last prompt is not the last book in a series, and I already have done away with the location prompt, so I can't deal him a wound that way. But I can still do my weapon prompt and make a mini playlist for one of the books that I read, and that will deal him a wound, and that will be the third one, and that means he would be defeated. Yes, okay, that is the plan. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Maybe I won't. We will see. But I think that's the plan, because it'd be really fun to defeat the killer in the first round that I ever play of this. So yeah, tomorrow I'm going to get started on Scythe and Sparrow and think about that playlist, and I'll see you with an update at some point on something that I'm doing. not gonna DNF this book. I cannot. I am a third of the way through, and I'm just so bored. These characters don't feel realistic in the slightest. So we've got Rose, and she is a circus performer, and she has, in the past, provided women with ways to kill their abusive husbands and partners. And like that's kind of her serial killer aspect. But then she decides one day that she's like, actually, I want to do the killing myself. But it goes awry. She ends up breaking her leg. And, well, she doesn't end up breaking her leg. The person that she's trying to kill breaks her leg. And she crawls to this clinic. And, who is the doctor there but our male main character, Finn? I always thought the name was pronounced Finn, but apparently it's Fionn in this, Fionn. I know it's Irish, and so obviously would be pronounced differently than like an American name, but I still always have thought that was pronounced Finn. Regardless, we have met both of these characters in previous books. Loved Butcher and Blackbird, did not like Leather and Lark. I feel like if I continue reading this, I will like it even less than Leather and Lark. Because Fionn, whatever you want to call him, he like instantly has this weird connection with her, and then he like takes care of her, and he gets like really weird about it, and he's like inviting her to stay with him and while she like recovers from her broken leg, which I feel like is illegal, even though she's not his patient specifically. He still like assists with an operation on her leg because her bone was like jutting out, so they had to do like an emergency procedure. And like he's like following her around. It's so weird, and they're like just not real people. I cannot give you any more examples, but yeah, I went on Reddit and I found some reviews, some spoilery bits, and I'm like, I don't need to read this book. I feel like it's just going to upset me. I don't know. I feel like Brynn Weaver really, really peaked with Butcher and Blackbird, and Leather and Lark was not good. I did read Tourist Season, which is the first book in her new series, which is like kind of a spin-off. It follows a character that we meet very, very briefly in Butcher and Blackbird. Like she's in one chapter. But yeah, that one I thought was fine, but there were like 4 sex scenes in it where the first 3 were pretty much identical, and then the 4th one completely out of left field with the kinks, and like I don't know how we got from 3 identical, very vanilla sex scenes to the 4th one, and also the characters were just absolutely the stupidest people ever. So I did not love Tourist Season, but I did like it better than Leather and Lark by a little bit. But then this one, I'm like, do I even want to keep reading Brynn Weaver? Do I want to read the second book in her new series? I think it's called Harvest Season, and it comes out this summer. Like, I was kind of excited for it after having finished Tourist Season, because I liked that book, but didn't love it. But now reading this, I'm like, I just don't want to read any more books from her. So, yeah. For my purposes, as I've mentioned, this still counts as completing this card. Hooray. I don't know if I want to give myself the permission to like give the killer a wound for it, because this does technically finish a series. I'm done with this series now, but it just feels a little bit like cheating. So finishing a series should give the killer a wound, but I don't know, I might not do that. I might just take 1 wound from finishing the Rolling in the Deep series, and then not a wound for this one. Also, this sucks, DNFing 2 books in a row. This last book for this vlog better be spectacular, which, fingers crossed. I did really like the first 2 books in that series, and it is a different vibe than what I'm reading now. But we'll just have to wait and see. I will not tell you what that is just yet. I'm still on hold with Libby for it, but I am first in line, and it has said 2 weeks wait for a whole week now, so I will get it within the next week. So it will be a time jump for me, but you'll see me in a few seconds. I will come back and talk to you about this book when I actually have access to read it. So, see see you then. Okay, it's been literally 30 seconds since I talked to you, and I just got the notification that my hold is in. The person who had it checked out has returned it, so I can now have that book available. That was insane timing, but my dinner is ready, so I'm gonna go eat, and then I'll come back and talk to you, and maybe get some more cute footage of my cats, because I feel like I don't include them in my vlogs as much as I would like to, so yeah, I'm gonna eat dinner, and then I'll come talk to you about this book. Okay, it is now 7 p.m., dinner has been had, and I can tell you about the final book I'll be reading for this kind of train wreck of a vlog. Train wreck might not be the word for it. It's more like everything has been a complete surprise, and I don't know why it should have been, because I should have expected to not understand what was gonna happen or not, like, see anything coming. So why am I, like, surprised that I didn't see any of this coming? Anyway, the last book that I will be reading is Dark Waters by Catherine Arden. This is the third book in the Small Spaces Quartet, so it will not be finishing out a series, but it will be getting close. I'll only have one book left after this, and this is a middle grade spooky book. It follows Ollie and her two friends, Coco and Brian. They're not friends until, like, the first book. That's when they, like, become a friend group. They are on this school trip, and a lot of spooky things happen, and it brings the three of them together because they get out of it together. The first book is, like, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, just Ollie's POV, and then the second book is Ollie and Coco switching back and forth between the two girls. This third one, judging by the blurb, we get Brian's POV, which I'm very excited about. So, I will be starting this tonight, but first I'm going to pop on the PWHL game. The Sirens are playing, I think, the Scepters, and I'm going to put that on while I do my book spread and write all about how much Scythe and Sparrow disappointed me. So that's going to be fun to get that all out of my system. And then tonight, probably when I'm getting into bed, I usually get into bed a little bit before my boyfriend and just chill while he's getting ready for bed and coming, so then I have some time to read at that point. This isn't a very long book. All of the books in this series are actually quite short. They are nice, easy middle grade books, which I love, so I think I might just come talk to you when I've read the whole thing, so I'll see you when that happens. Okay, one more really quick update. I would like to specify that Dark Waters is my pick for The Flirt, the prompt being a book with a book boyfriend or book girlfriend character. The character I have in mind is not one of the children, because I'm not a freak. The character I have in mind for being book boyfriend material is Ollie's dad, because, I mean, he's really funny, and he can cook, and what more do I want out of a character like that? I struggled so hard to fit these books into these prompts, you guys. I really did. So that is what we're going with, and we're gonna pretend that it's fine and just move on. So yeah, just figured I would add that in here. Good morning, friends. It is the next day, and I have finished Dark Waters. I read half of it last night before bed, and then I read the other half this morning. And okay, loud car going by. I'm a little bit conflicted on this book. I really enjoyed the first half. I thought it was really good. I loved the creepy elements to it. I thought it was exactly as horror as I wanted it to be. It was a little bit weird because we only got Brian's POV, so I didn't expect that. As we got further and further in, I was enjoying it less. First of all, like I said, we didn't have anyone's POV except Brian, so we didn't see Ollie, like, her POV at all, and beyond that, we also just barely saw her. She wasn't part of the action, which is weird because she was the main character in the first book, and like we got Brian and Coco as well, but like she was really the protagonist, and then the second book, her and Coco shared that. So that felt weird. Second, we didn't see the smiling man whatsoever. He's mentioned a couple of times, but anything that he has done is done off page. So that's weird. The smiling man is the like overarching antagonist of the series. We meet him in the first book and we see him do things, and he's like an actual presence. Also in the second book, he's like an actual presence doing things. This one, we hear him interacting, like we hear of him interacting with a completely different character, one of the kids' old friends from school that they kind of like lost touch with after all of this horror stuff started happening. He interacted with the smiling man like a week before the events of this book, and then at the very end we get like, oh, this is what the smiling man has done, and that's it. We don't see him at all, and this just felt so disconnected from the rest of the series. On its own, I really enjoyed it. But in terms of it being the third installment of this series, I'm kind of disappointed in it. So I don't know really how I feel about it. So yeah, I don't know, man. This vlog has been so weird. I just genuinely didn't expect it to go anything like this. For a minute there, I thought I was going to be able to do all 3 wounds against this killer and defeat a killer in my very first round. That didn't happen. Happened? That did not happen. Wow. I am clearly not good at speaking today. But yeah, that didn't happen. We're only giving him 1 wound for finishing the Into the Drowning Deep / Rolling in the Deep series. I've decided not to give him a wound for Scythe and Sparrow. It just feels a little bit not quite right because I DNF'd that book, but it's fine. I'm still like considering all 3 of these hero prompts completed. I didn't end up doing either the location or the weapon. Sorry. Yeah, this was just kind of a test run for this game, and it turned out to be a little bit different than I expected it to be, so I will adjust my expectations for the next round. But yeah, I guess I'm just going to call it here. Thank you all for showing up for this first episode of Series Slasher. Let me know if there's anything I can change to make it more enjoyable other than me enjoying the books more, because I feel like when I enjoy what I'm reading, the vlog is more enjoyable to watch. But I don't know, if you have any comments or suggestions, just let me know down in the comments of this video. But if you did enjoy it, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel for more content, and that way I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, everyone.